Hi and welcome to Talk Films. Well, today I went to see The Dark Knight Rises and I just thought I'd let you know what I think. This isn't scripted or anything, so this is just what I think off the top of my head. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Given the review that I did just yesterday, in fact, I said that I'd been a bit harsh on Christopher Nolan's adaptations. Well, more harsh on Christian Bale. Well, yes, I was, and he is a good actor in his own right, but unfortunately for me, I do feel that he's very wrong as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I still can't get over the voice he puts on. It just seems way too over the top. You can tell he's actually acting something out rather than making a believable character. But I put that aside because I thought, well, Batman Begins actually was quite a good movie, and The Dark Knight had Heath Ledger in it, and the Joker was a fantastic version of the Joker. So I thought, let's give this a chance. Go in with an open mind and see what I thought. Well, it's a good movie. It certainly gets the story across. Christopher Nolan's always very good at bringing a story and making it understandable, and anyone can go in and see these movies, and you don't have to particularly know anything about, say, for example, the Batman universe to really understand what's going on. However, and I may get a little bit of backlash on this because a lot of people do like this movie. I really wasn't a fan of this movie. I thought it was really long. I actually don't know how long it was. I think it was something like 2.5 hours or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it really, unlike the Avengers, which I went to see when it came out. That was also a long movie, but it really felt like you were involved in that movie, so every minute of it felt like it counted or it meant something to the story. With this one, although you got to get a lot of backstory out, it just kept spinning its wheels for a long time, and you're waiting for Batman to come in and save the day, like he should. And yes, I mean, things like that happen, but what really surprised me was actually there really weren't that many scenes with Batman in it. It's kind of strange, really, considering it's called The Dark Knight Rises. There must be about, I don't know, 3 or 4 particular scenes with Batman in it, and the rest of it's mostly about the backlash of what happens. I'm trying not to give anything away in this movie because it's not really very fair as it's still out in the cinema. But it's more about overcoming or trying to overcome certain situations, and really he doesn't play too big a part in it, which was very disappointing because half of seeing a Batman movie is seeing Batman fight and get past situations or escape what seems to be unescapable situations. So that was very disappointing. I mean, there were good aspects of the movie. Anne Hathaway's adaptation of Catwoman was absolutely fantastic. I think she was well directed and she did a really great job, and she was the best thing in this movie. I completely believed everything that she said, or all of the backstory, everything that was done. I believed every moment of it. It's just a shame that this is the only real focus in terms of good things that I can mention. Tom Hardy's Bane was incredibly disappointing, to be perfectly honest. I know a lot of people have actually been saying that they actually quite like the adaptation, but for me it just felt like it didn't work at all. I really tried to get into it, and admittedly I'm a bit of a Batman nerd, so I think a lot of that got in the way, unfortunately. But I tried to keep an open mind, but unfortunately his version of Bane just really didn't work for me, and it didn't work with the general story as well. The the story is great. Obviously, Christopher Nolan is great with things like Inception and The Dark Knight, and obviously Batman Begins was actually well written. It's just ultimately, when going into this, I had such a high expectation at this point that it really didn't deliver everything that I was hoping it would do. And I think that's the key point here. It's when a movie gets hyped up to the point where you think it's going to be the best film ever made. You're only ever expecting yourself to be disappointed, because there really is no such thing as the best movie. I think it's subject to view. I can criticise it as much as I like, but I do know that there are a lot of people out there that like it. So, again, it's personal opinion. For me, it didn't work. I had so much better time watching the Avengers that I feel that this one was really weak when it came to deciding ultimately which comic brand I preferred, be it between DC and Marvel. I seem to enjoy Marvel a lot more than I enjoy DC. I give it a chance because I like everything to do with superhero movies and comics, and I don't read too many comics, but the ones I have read have been very good. But ultimately, I feel that Marvel seem to be doing things a lot better. Granted, I wasn't such a fan on some of the X-Men movies, but I may move on to that at some point in later reviews. So overall, I would still say give this movie a watch, because actually it really is an okay movie within itself, but I think it should have been a bit shorter, because again it felt like it was sort of spinning its wheels a little, deciding what to do next. But the story was good. I think that in terms of deciding whether the characters were needed at all, for example, I think you could put anyone in this role. It didn't have to be Batman at all. It could have just been mercenaries or something else. That's what really bothered me about it. I think it wasn't the fact that it was bad. It was the fact that it didn't feel like a Batman movie. The first Batman movie they made with Michael Keaton was felt like a Batman movie. It concentrated on the character. It built on him. But this one, it felt like he was almost pushed aside for all these other elements that they didn't have time, ironically considering how much they had, to fill in all the story that they needed to. But don't let me stop you from giving it a go. I think it's definitely worth giving a go, and if you've watched the other two, then you need to finish the trilogy off really at this point. But I do think that, or at least I hope that at some point in a few years' time, somebody else gives it a go and it does something a little bit different with it. Because I really want to see a live action movie that feels a bit more like the comics. They haven't quite done that yet. Even with the early films, they over dramatized it a little bit. I think as Tim Burton had something to do with the first couple. So with Tim Burton movies, it's always a case of it's going to be very over the top. Not that the comic book isn't, but Tim Burton does tend to go very over the top. But as far as a live action movie goes, they haven't quite yet made it feel like the comic book, and I really can't wait for the day that they decide to tackle it again, and this time make it very much like the comic books. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling now. I just thought I'd give you my short rundown of what I thought of the movie, and give it a go and see what you think for yourself. Until next time.